Hello, my friends. Welcome. I am Chachi Diaz. I am not Abby Ashley, obviously. She is out today because we just got back from the TVS retreat. So if I'm feeling a little slow and our special guest is feeling a little tired, you will understand that we just got back from a beautiful Orlando, Florida, where we all met as a team because we were a completely remote team, but we all met together. It was an awesome time, a really great time. But that's why Abby's out today. She's actually going on vacation. So I am here. You get me. My name is Chachi Diaz. I'm the Senior Director of Technology. My title has changed a couple times. So, Senior Director of Technology. And today, this is episode 2 or live 2 of our burnout series. And we have a special guest today who's going to be awesome. I'm really excited to hear about her business, what she's going to tell us today. So, if you were here last week, we're going to continue on that same vein about kind of ending burnout, how to scale your business, all those good things. And so today we are specifically learning how to stop making mountains out of molehills. So what I mean by that is that we can really, as new entrepreneurs, we can really dig into our business and start to make things more complicated because we think that the more complicated they are, the fancier they are. And the fancier they are, the more professional they are. But what happens is that we overcomplicate our business, things get really, really clunky, and we get to burn out because we are working so much in our business that we can't work on our business, and vice versa. We're focusing on the wrong things at the wrong times. And so today we're going to learn how we can simplify our business and do less, but actually make more. And our special guest has done that. She's part of our TVS team, but she actually has a role outside of our TVS team, which is what is going to be the focus of today's live, is talking about her business, how she was able to scale her business to be able to work less and still make some revenue, still make a great living for her, and then be able to coach our students inside of a different program. But she also helps here in the VA Savvy's group and our Savvy System groups. We're really excited to meet her. But just before we bring her on, I just kind of want to line out what today's outline is going to be. So after we bring her on, we're going to just learn about her and her business. She's going to have 4 things that she's going to teach us today. Those 4 things about how she was able to work less in her business, but actually make more. And then we're going to do some question and answers. So I encourage you to hang on. You can write those answers down. You can actually write them inside of the comments, and we'll be able to see those. I see them here on the right-hand side, and so I can bring them up, just like we're bringing up Sarah. Hi, friend. Sarah was with us at our beautiful Orlando, Florida for our team retreat. So feel free to do that on the right-hand side of your comment screen, and we can put those on. And we'll try to do that kind of throughout the live and keep this thing interactive. But at the very end, we'll have a longer question and answer time. So be sure that you can hear me and see me. You can put that in the comments. Be sure also to let StreamYard have permission so that I can see your beautiful faces, just like we see just right here. Hello there. Hello, hello, hello. We appreciate you being here. If you're watching the replay, you can still do the same thing. So our special guests and myself will be able to go back into the replay and be able to see all of those beautiful comments and be able to respond to those as well if you're watching on the live. We're also going to make sure that everything that you hear today and see today, you can also probably watch it on an audio. So if you want to go back and wash dishes, if you're doing laundry or whatever the things that you're doing, working outside, you can actually listen to this through more of like an audio version and still get all of the juicy details that our special guest is going to deal with you today. And then at the very end, I have a really special invitation for you to go into kind of a peek into a very exclusive webinar that we're going to be offering at the beginning of November. So I'm really excited to share with you that. So all of that stuff is about to happen. Let me bring up our special guest. Let's see if I can do this because I'm not as cool as Abby. Let's see. There she is.
Hi.
We need one of those dump buttons where like I can push a button and it goes and like applause and all that good stuff. So this is Erica Fullerton. Erica, tell us who you are. Tell us your role in TVS, and then tell us your role outside of TVS.
Okay. So I'm Erica Fullerton, and at TBS, I am the Senior Specialist of Student Success. So basically, my role is to support our students and all of the different programs that we have. I'm mostly in Savvy System and Savvy Circle, sometimes a little bit in Savvy Vault, but tech is not my thing. So my job is basically just to engage with our students and support them and cheer them on and celebrate with them and all the fun things. So very social role, which I enjoy. And then outside of TBS, I own an agency. It is called Ovello, and I have a team of 13 VAs that works with me. We have about 30 clients right now. Mostly we specialize in MLM and network marketing as far as our clients go. But yeah, so we have an entire agency to support business owners as well.
That is very cool. Your business is also one of the coolest names I have ever heard. So explain to me the I was about to say epidemiology, but I don't think that's the right word. Etymology is like the beginning of a word. So explain to me the etymology of your name.
Yes. So I would love to be able to take credit for it, but somebody that was working with me at the time that we went through a rebranding actually suggested the name to me, and I loved it. But what it is my kids' names are Olivia, which is where the OV comes from,
Okay.
and then
Yes.
Eleanor, which is the EL. So we've got Ovel, and
Yes.
then the LO is for my son Milo. So it's a mesh of my kids' names.
So cool.
Yep.
So cool. So there's probably a lot of VAs in what watching right now, and we haven't even got into the meat of what we're going to talk about today. But just really briefly, when did your name become part of your business, and what was it before?
Before it was just Erica Fullerton, virtual assistant. That
That's
was
all it
what I
was.
started with.
That was it.
And then I've actually changed my business name twice. So I started with that. Then I went to Erica and Co. because I started bringing people on. And so I
Yeah.
wanted to have more of an agency feel. And then we got to the point where it was getting to people like really wanted to work with me because my name was in the business. So we'd have
Yeah.
a discovery call. They'd be
Yeah.
expecting to work with me.
Yeah.
And then
Where's
when they got
Erica?
someone
Yeah.
else,
Who are
yeah.
you? Where's Erica? Yeah, I can see
Yes.
that.
So then they didn't love that they had someone else. So I decided that my name and my face needed to stop being like the main thing that they saw because it felt a little misleading, I guess.
Yeah, that's very cool. I think a lot of our young entrepreneurs, people really getting started in their VA business, tend to focus so much on that name. Like, I'm going to have this name for the rest of my like existence, and I won't be able to change it. And do I do a brand name? Do I do a my name or whatever? But it can really be just as your business grows, your name and your branding can also grow and evolve with it. So I think that gives a lot of permission. Okay, love that. So you are going to teach us 4 ways in which in your business you were able to kind of do less in your business and you were able to make more. So before we get started, does anybody have any questions before we go into that? Courtney, you said edamame. Yes, so the edamame of a word. That's exactly what I was looking for. That's okay. So it doesn't look like there's any major comments. So let's go ahead and dive into tip number 1. What is the one way that we can do less in our business and keep making money?
Tip number 1 is systematize to scale.
Okay, tell us what that
So
means.
that is basically really making your business run as a system. That way you can scale your business and you're not doing all of the things. So really automating your processes, like making sure that you don't have to physically touch every single thing that happens in your business. Like having Dubsado set up so that contracts and proposals and invoices just go, or Honeybook or whatever you use. I use Dubsado. Really being able to do that sort of thing. As well as like really knowing what your offer is. Like, what is it that you are able to do for your clients instead of doing all of the things? Like, we see that a lot. There are people that are like, I'll do anything for a client, but really being
Mm,
able to create a process is really beneficial because then when you have a team, you're not like trying to be like, well, I do all these different things. I don't really know what you can help me with. Maybe you can do this piece, you can do this piece. You have a really good process where you're like, this is what we do. This is the part I do. This is the part you do. It all flows really nicely. That's huge. Really knowing your customer. That way you have an understanding of who it is that you're serving.
oh, that's a good one.
Mhm. That's really, really helpful. And then knowing your business as a whole, like what's your vision for your business? What are your goals? What are the things that you want to accomplish and the things that you want to do to serve your clients? All of those things kind of just wrapped up, really systematize your business. That way you are able to scale and you're not busy in the doing 24/7.
Yeah, you mentioned a couple of things in that last answer. When you talked about the processes, what do you mean by the processes of your business? Like, can you give me some specifics of things that you may be systematized in your business?
Yes. So, like I was saying, obviously, like the Dubsado and stuff, like just making sure that contracts and things like that are
Okay,
figured out.
pause. Tell us about what Dubsado and Honeybook is for maybe people who don't know what those 2 platforms are.
Okay, yes. So they do a lot, and truly, like I don't think I even use them to my full potential. But that's where we house like all of our important client stuff. So contracts get sent out through there, invoices get sent out through there. We can create workflows so that certain emails get sent out. So
So
it
good.
literally starts from step one. As soon as someone fills out our intake form, wanting more information or being interested in working with us, that starts a workflow. And so Dubsado behind the scenes, without us doing anything, will send them an email with a link to book a call and more
Powerful.
information. Yes. And like we also send a questionnaire and have them fill that out. That way we know right off the bat if we even want to spend time on a call with them. Like maybe they're not a good fit for us or we're not a good
Yeah.
fit for them.
Pre-qualifying leads before you
Yes.
give them a free 15 minutes of your time. Yeah.
Exactly. Yep. So it does all of that and can really like house everything. And then you have like a profile for your client. And anytime you need something, you can go back in and see like, okay, these are all the emails that have been sent to this client. These are all the forms that they've filled out, invoices they've paid, all of that stuff. So yeah, I love Dubsado. Honeybook does the same thing. I just started with Dubsado and that's what I use, but they both can do those things. So they're very, very helpful in getting you out of some of those processes that you don't need to be in.
Yeah, and what's really cool about those specific things, those specific platforms, is that it's really what takes you from like a kind of an amateur, just kind of piecing things together, to taking you into like, this is what a VA does. Like, this is what a professional business owner does in their business. It takes you kind of from the beginner amateur level to a professional person, and makes it feel professional, not only for you because you're saving time, you're maybe spending a little bit of money, and these things are like only, I think Honeybook has like a $9 a month one. Dubsado really isn't that much more expensive
Mhm.
either. And so that these are like really minimal financial investments that can really take your business to literally the next level. So it's
Yes.
very, very cool. So if anybody hasn't gotten on that train yet for Dubsado or Honeybook, Dubsado is a little bit more complicated. It's much more robust and powerful. Honeybook is a little bit more simplified, but they still do, both are really great platforms. Okay, so I interrupted you a little bit.
That's
Talk to
okay.
me about other processes that that you systematize in your business.
So, like just having SOPs in general, like that's a big one that we've started doing. That way, whenever something needs to be done, we have a full written out process of these are the exact steps that need to be taken. And a lot of this is like, I'm the kind of person that I'll kind of take on too much at one time and then steps get missed because I'm like, oh,
Yes.
I'm doing so much that I forgot that one little piece needed to happen.
Yep.
And a lot of times that's not necessarily like detrimental, but it's really helpful when you don't miss those pieces and you don't have to go back and be like, oh, I forgot to have you fill out this one thing that I
Right.
needed 2 weeks ago. So really having those SOPs in place is super, super helpful for us. And then I'm able to hand things off to other people and not do them
So
myself.
important.
Mhm.
Yes. So handing off is really important. But also, what you mentioned is you're able to get those steps too. And it's so, obviously, the entire purpose of this series is to beat burnout. And I don't think that a lot of us understand how much mental energy it takes to repeat the same process, but to remember every single part of that process, especially
Mhm.
when you're, I don't know, onboarding clients or whatever, processes we're talking about, to be able to list those out and follow those step by step. So all of
For
that
sure.
is really, really good. Anything else to say about the systematizing to scale point?
I don't think so. I think we covered
Okay.
it.
Okay, cool. Cool. All right. So again, if you have any comments that you guys want to make or any questions, we're going to continue to do that. So please put those into the comments and I can bring you up. So Keith says, can we watch a replay of this? Yes, you can absolutely watch a replay of this. You can also listen to this while you're doing any chores around the house or in the car, something like that. So you don't necessarily have to watch this. You can definitely listen to it as well. Okay, let's go on to the next one. What is your next tip?
Next one is marketing yourself and being visible.
Cool. Tell us what that means.
So like really knowing where it is that your ideal client comes is going to be. So we talked about in the systematizing to scale a little bit, like I touched on knowing your client.
Mhm.
It's really important to know exactly who your client is, who is it that you're serving, and then you can really figure out where they're hanging out so that you know where to market yourself and where to be visible. If I'm spending all of my time marketing myself on Instagram, but my ideal client is somebody that doesn't utilize Instagram, I'm never going to get clients because I'm not speaking to anybody. Like nobody that's seeing my stuff is interested in it because I'm not speaking to them. And the people I am speaking to aren't seeing it. So really knowing where you need to market yourself and how you need to market yourself is really, really huge in continuing to grow. And the other important piece of this is like getting referrals. You have to be marketing yourself and being visible to people. That way people can send referrals your way. Like if you're posting on Facebook, on Instagram, and other people are seeing that that maybe aren't your ideal client, maybe they don't own a business or whatever, but they know somebody that is, they can send them to you because they've seen you posting that stuff. They've seen you
Yeah.
marketing yourself. So then they can start sending referrals your way.
That's really good. We talked a little bit about this off camera before we hit the record button, before we went live. Can you tell us a little bit about your business as far as you serve network marketers, but
Mhm.
what did this piece look like inside of your business?
So when I very first got started in Savvy System, I did the whole post on my Facebook and shared that I had started a business. And somebody that I happen to be friends with on Facebook that I really didn't even know, she sold Usborne books. She reached out to me and was interested in my services for her business. And I remember thinking at the time, like, she sells children's books. She can't afford a VA. She doesn't need this. Little did I know that people in network
They make
marketing,
bank.
they make a lot of money.
Yeah.
So yeah, she did need help. She had a whole business, and like I was shocked that she was doing everything that she was on her own. And then she just started referring me out to her friends that were in the business with her. And a lot of people in MLMs and network marketing, they socialize with people in other MLMs and network
Yes.
marketing businesses. So then my clients just started referring me to other people that they knew in the industry. And our whole business has grown like that. I don't think I've gotten a client that's not a referral in 2 years probably now. Like it's always referrals.
That's really good. A couple of points there. First point is that you did a post on your personal Facebook.
Mhm.
So I don't think that a lot of us understand the power of a really simple post on Facebook with our already warm audience.
Yep.
You just don't know what you don't know. And
Mhm.
you don't know unless you ask people, like, hey, do you need help? This is what I'm doing now. So don't skip over that part. And the second part was that you really didn't. Did you do a lot of social media?
No.
No. And I
Mm-mm.
think a lot of us get stuck in that. I don't know why quagmire went to the quagmire of, I don't know. I've never used that word before in my life, but that's where my mind went. We get stuck in the mud of like, what do I do on social media and stuff like that. But
Mhm.
the power of your business can really just come from word of mouth referrals if you do a really good job the first time.
Yep.
That's incredible. That's really good. And so you've just had referral after referral after referral, and you're up to 30 clients, and probably more than that because I'm sure clients
Mhm.
came in and then you were able to
Yes.
offboard them
Yeah.
and things like
We've
that.
cycled through numerous clients, but yeah, and the important thing is just like providing the best service that you can while they're with you. That way they want to refer you to someone else. And it doesn't matter. Like we even have clients that aren't with us anymore for whatever reason, like financially they couldn't be or whatever, but they still send referrals our way when they hear about people that need help.
That's incredible. It's such a cool step. One of the things that we hear all the time in the VA Savvy's group and with new, you're inside a Savvy System with Savvy System was like, I'm not good at social media. I don't know what that means. But are you good in your business? Like, are you a good VA? That goes a long way.
Yep.
It goes such a long way to just being a really good person. Like, are you a good human? People want to work with other good humans.
Yes.
So just be nice and,
Yep.
be cool. Just be cool. Okay, cool. Market and be visible. Love that. What is number 3?
Building a rock star team.
Say what? Okay, building a rockstar team. This is going to be an interesting one. I would love to hear everything you got to say. Go.
Boy, so while you have to know who your client is, you also have to know who you want your team to be. Building a team is hard. Like you've built this whole business, it's your baby, you care about it. It's literally putting food on your table and a roof over your head. And now you have to trust other people to come in
Yeah.
and help continue that. It can be a big challenge. And I think everybody makes mistakes when building a team. Like, Lord knows I've had to fire some people. I've made terrible decisions with who I've hired. But really, like, getting down to the nitty gritty of like, this is what's important to me in a team. I want people that possess these qualities, treat people this way, are able to do this. And really just like building out that ideal team member, just like you would your ideal client. That's huge. And then in your business, like creating a really good culture. Like for me, my people are subcontractors. They can go have their own business and make more money than what I can pay them as a subcontractor. But I'm providing them a company that they enjoy working with. They want to come work with us. They want to work with their clients. They have fun. They like being part of the team. And my goal is never for somebody to like stay with us forever. So I definitely want them to continue building their own business and being able to like go off and run with that. but I want them to enjoy their time while they're here too. So really having like a great culture in your company is huge to building that good team.
That's awesome. Do you have any? So you said that you hire contractors, not employees. Can you tell us the
Yes.
difference about why you chose one or the other?
So for me, well, I think especially when I first started, financially, it didn't make sense to hire employees. Like I couldn't afford to provide them benefits
Right.
or pay the taxes and all that kind of stuff. It was just an added expense. But additionally, like the reason I started this business is because I wanted to own my own time and be able to go to my kids' Christmas parties at school if I wanted to do that, or take a day off on their birthday to go hang out at the park if that's what they want to do. I didn't want to have to be glued to a job 24/7. And I want the same for my team. Like, I want them to set their own hours. I want them to be able to dictate what this business looks like for them. So it's really important to me that they're contractors. That way, they are their own boss. Like, I'm
Mm.
providing them work, I'm providing them a client, but I'm not setting their rules for them. Like, they absolutely can choose how they manage their day, how they manage their business, all of that stuff.
That's really cool. And I think that so oftentimes we're going to add this as another quiz result. If you haven't taken our quiz yet, you can go to thevirtualsavvy.com/quiz, and that'll give you your unique VA personality. So you get like the socialite, you'll get the expert or the creative, and they'll kind of put you in a kind of a career path to kind of niche down things like that if you're a VA that's already to niche. But one of the things that we're going to add to that is the visionary. So we're noticing that there are people who understand I don't necessarily want to do all the work in my business. I'm really good at managing people, creating culture, getting business. I'm really good at those things. I'm not necessarily a good doer, like worker bee. And I think it's really empowering for you to be able to kind of give permission to those people to say, hey, you don't have to be stuck at a computer doing the work all yourself. And that this is a way, hiring a team allows you to do more in your business, make more in your business, but not be a slave to your business. I think that's really, really empowering for you to do that. One of the other questions I had was, have you had team members come into your business, be a part of your team, and then go on to create their business and leave your team?
Yes, and that is the goal. Like, actually, one of my team members is in Savvy Circle right now, one of our programs, and she
That's so cool.
yeah, she's building her business to have her own agency, and I'm pumped for her. Like, that's my goal.
Yeah.
With all of my people, I'm like, pick my brain, ask me anything. Like, I want you to go create what I have created and have like somebody here to bounce things off of. Like, I will help you every step of the way because I want you to find the success and the joy from your business that I was able to find from mine.
That is so cool. It's a whole other way to serve your people. I think a lot of VAs get into it not just because of like the money and the freedom, but they also are genuinely great humans who say, I want to help other people make their freedom life, which is what we do
Mhm.
with the virtual savvy, but they want to do it as a VA.
Yep.
But there's also a way I can build my team and allow them to be able to grow. And you're being a VA, you're still serving clients, but you're also serving your team, which
Yep.
is a whole different ballpark. That is very, very cool. Something we don't talk about enough is how to build that rockstar team, but we do talk about it inside of Savvy Circle. You didn't know
We
that you
do.
could just see me dance. Cool. Anything else to say about building a rockstar team?
I'm checking my notes. The only other thing I mentioned is having good onboarding. And that's
Yeah.
something that we go more in depth about in Savvy Circle too, but really just making sure that you're setting your people up for success when they do come onto your team. And again, that goes back to like when you systematized your business, like you've now got those SOPs into place, you've got those systems and processes, and you can give those to your people so that they are successful from day one with your company.
Cool. Are you comfortable sharing what your onboarding process looks like for your subcontractors?
Yes. So we use ClickUp. I love ClickUp and it houses everything
Bomb.
for us.
Yeah.
So as soon as they come in, we assign them the specific trainings that they need. And I've learned that people learn differently. Like I hate watching videos. I'm not going to sit and watch a
Yeah.
video all day. I want to read something, be able to zoom through it and be finished with it. But sometimes that helps me to have like some visuals. So we've kind of created all of it. Like we have it written out into steps. We have it written out with screenshots and we have videos that walk you through everything. So however you learn, we've got you. But we have everything in there. So if they're going to be working with a client from a certain company, they go into those trainings to learn about that company, about the typical tasks that they do. And then it goes deeper too. And we've obviously got like our company information, how they need to invoice, how they track their time, that sort of stuff. And then we go deeper into like, okay, these are the specific tasks that you'll be doing. This is how you do those. So they've got really everything they need in there, and they can just watch that as soon as they come on, and then they're ready to take on a client.
Awesome. There's two things that I want to bring up. One of the things you said is they're able to see how we are supposed to invoice. So as a subcontractor, are they invoicing and using their own tools or processes, or are they using yours?
So they use, we've changed things. When we were smaller, we were all in Toggle, but we had a team Toggle. So it was through us, and they would just track their time, send us their invoice at the end of the weekly period, and then we would pay those invoices. Now we do everything in ClickUp, like I said. So they will track their time directly in ClickUp, and then 2 times a month, we actually go in and pull their hours, and we send them direct deposit. So they're not having to like invoice or do any of that anymore. We're taking care of it from our end.
That is very cool. So again, you don't have to stick with the thing that you started with. As your business evolves, you can continue to go. Um, Nicole mentioned something that is really cool. Hire not only for the skill, but for the culture. Do they buy into the vision? What is probably one thing that you can put your finger on that's like, if you're going to hire for one thing, this is the one thing that you should hire for when building a team?
Um, for me, I think because my top priority is serving others, like I need that to be your top priority too. Like
Mm,
I can work with you on the skills. I can make sure that you fully understand how to do something, even if it's something you've never done before. But I need your heart to really be in it to serve other people. I want you to, it's very important to me that myself and my team treats our clients' businesses like they're our own. Like I would not want us to make a mistake in a client's business or not take enough care in a client's business where it really impacts the food that they're putting on the table for their family.
right.
So I really need the people that I can just tell like they care about our clients and they care about what our clients are doing. That's the biggest for me.
How do you figure out that? Like, how do you zero in on like, is this person a great human or a bad, like a not,
Um,
I don't want to say a bad human because you don't like to serve people, but
yeah.
like, how do you figure that out?
I I wish I had great advice here. I'm really good with my gut. Like I typically know
Mm.
immediately if
Enneagram 8.
yeah,
Enneagram
what
8. Good with the
gut.
gut. Yeah.
Yeah, so I usually can get a pretty good feel for people. Some people fool me. Like there have been people that I'm like, they are it. And then they get in and I'm like, they are not it. This was
And
a
what do you do?
bad
What do you do
fit.
in that instance when
We
they're
let
not
people
it?
go. I mean, yeah, if the client is complaining and they're not getting the work done, it's too important to me that I continue to have a successful business for the people on my team that need that income. I don't want to have one bad apple start ruining our referral process and that sort of stuff so that the other people on my team no longer have an income. So yeah, we let them go when that happens. I'm the queen of second and third chances. So I do give chances.
Yeah.
But my OBM will be like, okay, it's time. They
Yeah.
gotta go.
Yeah.
So yeah, we let them go when it happens. But I would just say, like my gut, like I get on an interview with them, basically a discovery call with them, and I just get a vibe for them. I just like to have a conversation with them and learn about who they are as a person. And I think from that, I can typically tell if they're here for the right reasons and if they're going to be a good fit for our team.
That's really cool. So not only buying into the vision, but it's also your responsibility to protect the vision.
Yes,
I think that's really important. Cool. Anything else with the Rockstar team? This is really good.
I don't think so.
All right. What is the last and final tip to do less and more, make more in your business?
Knowing your numbers.
That's a hard one for people.
Mhm.
What's that mean?
You really have to know where you're at with your numbers. Like you've got to be tracking things. It's so easy in a business to think that you're making money because you're like, we bring in $25,000 a month. We're doing great. But are you? Like,
Yeah, I don't
are you
know.
paying yourself? Are you making money off of this? Or is all of that money getting just wasted on all this other stuff? So really keeping track of like your budget and knowing like, okay, this is how much we can spend on paying for ClickUp and paying for Dubsado and having all these different subscriptions. Knowing like, especially as you bring on a team, are you charging your clients enough money to justify paying your team? Or is there not enough of a margin in there? That's really super important. And then doing things like tracking your KPIs, like knowing, okay, I've had this many discovery calls and they result in this many people actually signing up, and just tracking the things that are important to your business. That way you can continue to grow and you're not failing because you're not actually making money in your business.
Yeah. So explain to people what KPI is. That's a really interesting acronym.
What does KPI stand for? Key performance indicators. Like, what is it? So it's just things that are important to your business. So for example, like, we have a social media girl. So we've recently created a social media sector of our business, and she mans everything because social media is not my thing. Like, I'll post a cute picture of my kid, and that's the end of my journey with social media. But she will track like how often she's posting, how many people she's engaging with per week, like how many direct messages she's sending to people, how many calls are getting booked based on that. And then we do the same on our end. Like, we might track our newsletter, like what's our open rate of our newsletter. And when we see those numbers not where we want them, we can really dive into things. So maybe our newsletter open rate was a lot less this month, and we're like, why is that? So maybe we're like, okay, we didn't have a great tagline. Like, our subject line really needs a lot of work. But we can kind of dive into like, what can we do to improve this number, because it has a direct correlation to our financial numbers. Like, if people aren't opening our newsletter, we're not targeting people in that way, and we're not getting new clients through that. So just really knowing the things that you need to track to continue to grow your business is going to be really, really important.
That's really good, because I think that as new business owners, you're just so consumed by all the different things, and it's hard to know what all the different things are working. And most of the time, if you're not tracking them, you're guessing.
Mm-hmm.
And you're just kind of, does it feel good? Like, I don't know, does it seem like people are opening their emails?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody knows what that means. And so if you really want to scale and do more in your business, you got to throw fuel in the fire of what's actually working and not what you think is working. There have been so many times in just working with TVS, it's like, we think that this is working, and then you dive into the numbers and it's like, this isn't it. And we got to,
Mm-hmm.
we got to pivot and change. But knowing those KPIs are really, really important.
Yeah, they're helpful for accountability too. Like, we talked about missing steps in the
That's good.
processes, and that can be really helpful too. Like, at TVS, one of my KPIs is like going into the Facebook groups 4 days a week. And you'd think like, okay, her job is about student success. Of course, she goes into the Facebook groups, but there are days that like other things are so busy that
Yes.
I'm like, oh, I haven't gone into the Facebook group. But if I didn't have that KPI, I have nothing holding me accountable to make sure that these things are happening on a regular basis. So they can be really helpful to not miss certain steps that are important to your business too.
That's awesome. AA, this could be Abby Ashley. This could be Aaron. I don't know who this is. So AA says continuously checking on that bottom line. This isn't my live, but I do want to say one thing when we talk. Like, one of the tips that I can say is, remember that you're a business, and that you're not necessarily a charity unless you are, right? But you're not. It's very important that you are making money in your business, especially if you're building a team. You got to make sure that your bottom line, that's like your ultimate KPI, right? Are we in the green or are we in the red? And
Yep.
making sure that's working. Do you have any, like, how did you figure out what your specific KPIs were for your business? Is this a evolving thing, or what was your process?
Yeah. So I'll be honest, like, until I started at TVS full time, like, I was not good at that stuff. I tracking my numbers. I'm like, what's a KPI? I didn't even know that was a thing. But yeah, now like, we do, I mean, we try really hard to track specific things because it is so vital to our success. And I've learned that since doing that, like, it's really only improved our business. So like I said, like tracking the newsletters and making sure that like we're tracking how many people we're engaging with or what our discovery calls are doing. And sometimes we've had situations where it's like, okay, we've had a lot of discovery calls and those aren't becoming clients. Why is that? So then diving into like, okay, well, that's because we're taking discovery calls with people that aren't our ideal client. Like, we're wasting time and money on this
Mm,
when it's not important. So now I'm paying my OBM to be on a discovery call with somebody when they're not our ideal fit. And that's a waste of her time and a waste of my money. So it definitely impacts the bottom line. Like, I need to know those numbers to make sure that I'm always bringing in what we should be. That's huge.
yeah, that's kind of all coming together now, and like this big, like, it's all making sense in my brain, to where you say, I'm paying my OBM, and we're not able to see if our discovery call rate really isn't working. But this is what you said in the very beginning of our call, of making sure that you systematize your onboarding process, or your lead generation process. And so that you're pre-qualifying your leads, because you're probably paying your OBM, who knows, anywhere from like $40 to $70 an hour, or whatever her rate is. It's
Mm-hmm.
not it's not just a drop in the bucket. Like, it's a chunk
Yep.
of change.
Yeah.
So the more that you systematize your business, the more that you make your business more accountable with KPIs and know your numbers and all those things, the more confident you become that your money that you're paying your subcontractors is actually making money for the business.
Yep.
That is huge. That's like it's all of my brain making.
All came together.
It all comes together. It's like my mind is being blown. I need emojis on the screen. That would be great. Cool. So before we get into before we get into so many acronyms happening, before we get into our Q&A, is there anything else, maybe not related to necessarily the 4 tips, but just any sort of not compliment? Geez, I don't know why my brain just stopped working. Is there any other inspiration, any other encouragement, any other tip that you want to give to our people about burnout and mindset or anything with their VA businesses?
I think my biggest thing that I would say is like, just believe in yourself. Like, it can be really hard to like see me up here and be like, well, there's something special about her. Like, that's why she was able to make that happen. Like, there's really not. I'm not any better than the next person that comes along. I have no experience in owning a business prior to this. I worked in insurance before, like, had nothing to do with any of this. But I would just take it one step at a time. Like, I had a referral come in and I didn't have the time to take it on. So I thought, well, I guess I'm going to find someone else that can take it on because I don't want to say no to that money. So just taking it one day at a time, one step at a time, and saying like, okay, I don't have to have a full-blown agency today. I don't have to have all of these things figured out today, but I can do this one thing that puts me that much closer to it. I truly think that anybody can create a business like this. It does not take somebody that's special in any sort of way. So just taking those small steps and believing that you've got this, I think is so, so important.
Beautiful. Thank you for that. Before we get into the question and answer, we have a couple of questions that have come through already. We are hosting at the beginning of November, we are hosting a 6 Steps to Scale webinar where we're going to give you the exact framework that we use for our VAs, for our high ticket VAs, where you're able to learn a system of how to scale out your VA business and scale and do more. That's called 6 Steps to Scale. And you can learn more about that webinar and you can apply to be a part of that webinar. It's a very exclusive application process because we want to make sure that the people that we get into that webinar, and Erica will make an appearance at that webinar. You can learn more about her there. You can go and check that out at thevirtualsavvy.com/apply. We are going to close those applications soon at the beginning of November. I believe it's November 8th or something like that is when the actual 6 Steps to Scale webinar takes place. Is that right?
Yes, the 8th is the webinar.
Yes, the 8th is webinar. So we're going to cut off those applications here pretty soon. So go ahead and apply there if you haven't done so already to learn the framework of how to scale your VA business. It's one of my favorite webinars that we do. We do a ton of webinars here at the Virtual Savvy, but this is by far one of my favorites. It was great last year. I think it's going to be great again. That's taught by Rachel Dorsey, our VP of product. And of course, Abby Ashley will be one of the ones. 6 Steps Scale webinar, thevirtualsavvy.com/apply. Okay, so let me put this banner up here. What questions do you have? Let me show one that came earlier. This is by Elisa. She says, how do you make money when you have a team? Do you mark up the cost by a percentage?
Do you want me to answer?
Please.
Okay. Yes. So like when I was working just on my own, my rate was usually 25, 30-ish an hour. We're double that now because we have to pay for the overhead, and I'm not profiting 50%. Like I haven't doubled it and I'm profiting 50%. You have to think about the other costs that you have associated when you're thinking about marking up too. Like we pay thousands a year for ClickUp, for example, Dubsado, like things like that. Those are huge expenses for the business. So making sure that you have enough to pay whatever you're going to need to pay, plus paying for your team member. And again, this doesn't have to be like a overnight, I've gone to $50 an hour and things are crazy. Maybe you start by increasing a little bit because you don't have those big overhead costs yet. And then slowly, as your team builds and your business builds, you continue marking up those prices a little bit more.
Do you think that there's a difference in maybe like somebody who's a general VA as opposed to, let's say you're a web designer agency or whatever? Like, are those margins different or are those rates different?
You know, I'm sure that they are, but I will tell you, like, our work is really general VA. Like I could hire a 16-year-old to do what we do for people that has no education, no work history, nothing, and they would be fine. And we easily charge $50 an hour. So It really just depends. Obviously, if you're building websites and things like that, you can charge significantly more. And then you could charge even more because you are doing an agency and you have support, you have a team, you have more to offer somebody than just one individual person. But what I hear a lot is people that do general admin and they're like, I could never charge that. And it's like,
Yes,
yes,
you can.
you
Yes, you
can.
can. Yes, yes, you can. Yes, we can. Si se puede. What the cool thing about what you're saying is that you can niche multiple ways.
Yes.
You can niche into what you're offering, right? If you're a web design agency, a social media agency, whatever, or you can niche down into the industry that you're offering, and
Mhm.
that's a cool way to understand. I think people think either you have to do one or the other, or you have to do both, or like whichever way. But I think it's really cool that you can do. Alrighty then. Let me get you another question here. How do you? Did I bring it up? No, I didn't. Let's see. Okay. How do you handle when clients don't want to have someone else in their account? Jasmine asks.
So that is all in how you position yourself. Like that is hard when you first start for sure. Like if you as Jasmine bring on one person to help you and your client knows and you share with them, "Hey, I'm going to have Sarah come in and start helping with my business." They might push back and be like, "Gosh, no you're not." But at this point like we have positioned ourselves as an agency. They're very aware that they're not getting me, they're getting somebody else. So that's not really an issue for us anymore, but I would say when you're first starting that, first of all, look at your contract because like the contract I was originally using stated that I could bring team members in to help with stuff. And technically I didn't even have to tell the client. So that is like your personal journey. Do you feel the need to tell your client? Are you okay with your contract verbiage and you don't feel like you need to tell the client? Totally up to you. But then when you do have that conversation with the client, really focus on the pros of that. Like explain to them, hey, this person has experience in this area. I think they're going to be a great asset. You now have two VAs instead of one because we're both helping out with your stuff. I have somebody that I can bounce ideas off of. And, we're going to be able to take your business to the next level because you've got both of us and not just one of us anymore. So I think it really goes into how you're saying it. The other thing I'm a big fan of is not necessarily asking permission. And again, this is me and my personality. But my way of doing it when I first started was just telling my client, like, I didn't ask if it was okay. I just said, hey, I'm bringing on a team member and they're going to be helping me with this, just so you know. And I didn't really leave the door open for them to say, no, I don't think I want that. They were just kind of like, oh,
Do I have to pay anymore? Like,
yeah.
do I have to pay both of you now?
Yes, exactly. So like answering those things that you know are going to be a question, like the payment question, and then just not really leaving it open for discussion and just telling them this is where I'm going with my business. Oftentimes you have a good enough relationship with your client that they're going to be so excited for you that your business is growing and moving into this next level.
Yes.
That's most often what we see. Like even in Savvy Circle or Savvy System, when people get to this point, people get so nervous about telling their clients and then they do, and their clients are like, wow, that's amazing. You're growing that much. And they're just so excited for them. So it's not as nerve wracking as I think we all make it out to be. It will be a lot easier, I think, when you get to that point than what you assume it will be.
Yeah, you can even put it on a frequently asked questions page or something like
Yes.
that. If you have a sales page that people go to, put a frequently asked question in there that says, something to the effect of, am I working with you or do you have a team? You can always just say, even if you're by yourself, and you can say, currently I'm working, by myself or on a solo team. But I do plan on making, hires in the future to help, make your business. Again, it's all about positioning and the language that you use. That's
Mhm.
really good. Charlie says, I haven't unintentionally set myself up as you get me directly versus an agency. So I love that. And my clients respond well to that. But does this mean I can't sub out specific tasks?
No, I don't think it means that at all. And again, this goes back to like checking your contract and seeing like, do you have the verbiage in there that you can bring on a team member? And so then you can just sub out specific tasks and still be the face of your business. Or do you need to let your client know, like, hey, I'm going to be having this other person do this one thing for you? But in that scenario, like if you're just subbing out a specific task and like the person you're subbing out to is not going to be face to face with the client, I almost think that's even easier because you can say, hey, I'm still the face of this. I'm heading this up. I will double check what they're doing before it ever gets back to you. I know it's going to be on par with what I would create because I'm making sure of that before it's ever something that's put out into the universe. So I almost think that scenario sometimes works out better because they're like, okay, I trust you. You've got this. Like, it's fine.
What do you think are the major, if you had to pinpoint like what the, I don't know, top 2 or 3 major objections are for clients? Like if you were like Charlie, that you unintentionally set yourself up as a solo company, a solopreneur, as opposed to an agency, and you're introducing this to a client, what do you think that the major objections would be?
I think the biggest one is knowing that the quality is going to be there. I know that was one for me. Like they were very concerned about like, well, you do a really good job. Are they going to do a really good
Right.
job? So making sure that you cover that. The money one that you mentioned is big too. Like that's a big one. They're
Yeah.
like,
Am I going to have to pay two
do
people
I have
now?
to pay them too? And you're like, no, I pay them. You just
Yeah.
pay me. Nothing is changing there. I would say those are honestly the biggest ones. You're going to have some clients that don't care and they're like, I don't have time to even know who's in here doing it. It doesn't matter.
That's
You're
why
going
I'm paying you. You figure it out.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're going to have other clients that are like, well, I want to have a conversation with this person before you allow them into my email or you allow them into this.
Ah,
So that really just depends on personality types too. But yeah, I would say those are probably the biggest things I've noticed, at least in my business. Those have been the biggest like objections or kind of pauses.
that's really good. That's really, really good. I didn't even think about the whole trust factor, especially if you're dealing with something maybe email related, or whether it's in somebody's inbox that feels a little bit more personal than like posting on my socials or something that maybe I don't even check.
Yeah.
So very good, very good. I don't so this is the last call for questions. If anybody has any more questions, we're going to let Erica go here in just a couple of minutes. Again, just to kind of bring this up one more time, we're going to have a 6 steps to scale webinar November 8th, where Erica will make an appearance, but it will be taught by Abby Ashley, obviously our CEO here at the Virtual Savvy, and Rachel Dorsey, she's had so many titles, who is now VP of Product, where they're going to teach us the exact framework, or 6 steps to scale your VA business. If you're just starting your VA business, you can go to thesavvysystem.com and you can learn about our VA launching course, which is a dedicated framework to how to launch your VA business just to begin with. And we were talking a lot about contracts and all of that good stuff. You get a VA contract and a subcontractor contract inside of the Savvy system. You can also purchase that directly. That is called, I think it's the virtualsavvy.com/VA-toolbox. I should probably know that URL because
I
that's
think that's right.
literally a part of my job, but I think that's what it is, /VA-toolbox. And you can purchase that contractor agreement along with the regular VA agreement. And you get access to kind of ask any legal questions pertaining to that contract, specifically to the lawyer who actually made that. I do not recommend going on and like Googling free VA contract. That's probably not going to be a great thing for your business. So again, the virtualsavvy.com/apply if you want to look at that exclusive webinar. Okay. One last question. I have one client at the moment. I'm a little nervous to add on any new clients out of fear of burning out. Ooh, interesting. Right now, I offer a wide range of services and I feel pulled in a lot of directions. Any advice?
Well, I think you can go a number of ways here. I mean, if you
Choose
only
your
have
own
one
adventure.
client, if you're not sure what you want to offer and you offer all these different services and you only have one client, like maybe take on another client and see like what services do they want? What do I enjoy the most? The other thing you honestly could do right now is niche down right now and just make that decision of like, this is what I do. Because the great thing about once you niche down is that you can systematize and you can set up those processes. And it becomes much easier when you say, this is what I'm going to do for you. Like, this is what I offer. I do this thing and that is it, nothing outside of this box. It's a lot easier to make sure that you're not getting burnout because you have those processes, you know the steps. They're not throwing random things at you because you've been very intentional and specific about what you do. So you might feel like it's too early to do that in your business, but it sounds like you're already a little bit scared of getting burnout with the second client. So it might be something to look into. And maybe you don't totally niche down, but maybe you say, okay, these things kind of go hand in hand. So these are what I'm going to offer. And it's still a bigger range, but you don't have a list of 25 different things that you're offering. So maybe that helps a little bit, but I say go for it. Either way, whether you're going to tell them specifically, like, these are the only things I do, or you're going to let them choose. I still think like I would take on that second client to get a feel for what you like about each one. Like working with them because of this. I like doing this task for this person. I think that will really help you as you grow to be able to niche down even further.
And you have Facebook user, you have a lot of different resources at your disposal. We've started Hello Savvy, which is another place where you can find freelancers. And then you also have the VA Savvies group where you can find freelancers. And if you're a part of the Savvy system, you can go in there and find other, excuse me. Right now, like my throat has started closing up. Like I'm like in shock. I
Are you
don't know
doing
why. I think I'm fine. We'll see how if I can get to the end of this live. But there's so many resources at your disposal of where to find really quality VAs in all of our groups. So you could take Erica's advice and you will be 100% fine. We believe in you. So if there's not anything else, any one last question, I do have a question for you. If there was a movie made about your life, what actress would play you?
Oh,
Yeah,
I wasn't prepared for
I
this.
know. This is like this is the be bold moment.
Oh,
Just be happy that I'm not making you beatbox.
I, I might rather that at this point.
Really? You want to
No,
beatbox? Okay,
I'm
let's
not
go.
gonna be
Okay, okay.
gosh, I really don't know. I
You
don't know
don't
that I
know?
have an answer to this.
Oh man, maybe Kristen Wiig.
Who?
Who?
What did you say?
Bridesmaids? The girl from Bridesmaids, Kristen Wiig?
The blonde girl?
Yes, yes, yes,
Main
yes.
girl?
Mean Girl?
No, the main girl.
The main girl,
Main.
yes.
Sorry,
Yes.
my
So she's
accent
not
getting
in Mean Girl. She's not in Mean Girl.
Yeah, I like her. I could get down with that. That would be fine.
Jessica says
Jennifer Aniston.
Jennifer
I'm not against
Aniston.
that.
There you go.
I'll
That's
take
who it
it.
is.
Done.
Jennifer Aniston. We're taking on Erica. Well, thank you, Erica, for your time today. I appreciate you letting us in kind of behind the curtain of your business. If you want to know more about Erica, see Erica, have access to Erica, go to thevirtualsavvy.com/apply and see our 6 Steps to Scale webinar. That is all the time we have for today. Lisa says Reese Witherspoon. There's another one.
I would take her too.
Oh my gosh, you're just getting all the
fine.
A-listers. Thanks so much for your time, Erica. Thank you, everybody, for watching. We will see you on the replay if we did not catch you on the live. Thank you very much. You can tune in next week, same time, same place. We're going to have Burnout Series number 3. I couldn't tell you what it's about, but I'm sure it's going to be good. Other than that, thank you. Peace out. We appreciate your support. Thank you. See y'all later.
Bye.